Now say this out loud as you're driving around in your car.
Join Sports Skillet.
Just what it feels like.
So how do you like it?
So what is it? I'm curious.
You like it like this?
My God, do we love football.
Or like this?
I love the sport of baseball.
And what about this?
You can have a sports show without all the vicious talk.
Simple human decency.
Whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, I like chaos.
We've got it covered.
Right?
It's sports the way you like it.
My friends, you may not know this. It's got everything you want.
Here we go. Local and national sports talk that's fresh, in season, and FDA approved. If it's hot, you'll find it cooking with Jeff, Jay, and Kelly. They don't just stir the pot, they add more flavor than the other guys. Get ready to dig in and taste some Sports Skillet.
Ooh, tastes good.
Right now.
And welcome once again to the Sports Skillet live stream, emanating live from the comfortable, posh, but not overly ostentatious studios right here at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Cherry Hill. And let me tell you guys, if you're looking to begin your broadcasting career, if you're looking to get some help with it, you can contact us or you can contact the great folks here at Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Cherry Hill, and they'll help you out. We want to thank them for accommodating us each and every week here on the Sports Skillet live stream. And a reminder, too, check out our show every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports Radio, 920 The Jersey. Or if you can't get that, you can always go to sportsskilletradio.com, our website. We have a great app that you can download. You can get all the great Fox Sports Radio programming on that, as well as our show every Sunday morning. Or you can just click on Listen Live, and you can hear our show every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. You want to tune into that. We also have great guests on the show, such as Shane McGowan, my brother Jeff as well. So you always want to check that out. And as you see on the screen, please like, follow, and share on our social media sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe right here on YouTube so you don't miss out on our live stream every Friday afternoon. You don't want to miss out on that. We bring in great content, great guests. So hit subscribe and you'll be alerted on your mobile device when we go live every Friday afternoon. And like, follow, and share. Get the word out about Sports Skillet. We want you to do that. Speaking of Sports Skillet, we do have our golf outing coming up for the Knights of Columbus. Tony Muschienti golf outing coming up in May. You want to sign up for that if you are a golf enthusiast, or even if you're not, if you're a family, if you're friends, if you just want to hang out. It's going to be taking place at the Cherry Hill Golf Club in Skillman, New Jersey. Cherry Valley, I should say. Cherry Valley Golf Course in Skillman, New Jersey. So you want to check that out. It's coming up in May. Have all the information on our website. Really easy for you to sign up. All you have to go and do is type in Birdease, BIRDEASE /KOFC 7103 Golf. Easy to sign up. If you're a golfer, we want you to come out. If you're not, if you're a friend of a golfer, if you just want to hang out for the day, you can enjoy the delicious, the scrumptious buffet that we have for lunch. Hang out, see the helicopter ball drop. That is amazing. Participate in the raffles. We will have great prizes. I can tell you right now, we will be giving away an Amazon Echo Dot. That will be one of the prizes that we give away.
No, that's for making the hole-in-one in the windmill, White.
No, this is just straight golfing. No windmills, no anything.
It's not a mini golf?
Oh, no.
So it's a big boy place.
It is big boy. You got to put on your big boy pants. You got to come out. You got to golf.
Big boy golfer pants. Let's get it right.
Yes. So we have a lot of great things lined up for you in May. Just head over to Birdease, BIRDEASE /KOFC 7103 Golf. all the information is right there. Credit cards are accepted, so there you go. You can sign up by yourself, a twosome, threesome, foursome, whatever you want. Come out for the buffet, take place, enjoy the ambiance at Cherry Valley Country Club. I mean, it will be awesome. You don't want to miss it, and that is coming up in May. But right now, without further ado, want to bring in our awesome contributor, Ken Moskowitz. He joins us each and every week. Ken, how are you doing today?
How are you doing, gentlemen?
I am fired up. I am flyered up. I'm more than fired up. I am flyered up. Flyers are doing tremendous. But before we get to them, can you let everybody know how they can find you on social media?
Sure thing. I just wanted to very quickly say, too, I think, Jeffrey, knowing you very well, I think I could sort of see you in that the late, great Payne Stewart outfit, and especially going, towards the 18th fairway in terms of winning, that Echo dot.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I could pull that off.
Jeff Scott can pull that off, by the way.
I look good in a golf cap, actually.
There you go.
Now we're talking the 1930s look, right? Because that's perfect. The wingtip things or whatever you call those.
There you go. Yeah.
It's like
the duck-billed cap.
Yeah.
Ken Moskowitz in parentheses Crossing Guard Ken on Facebook, and Skywarn Spotter Ken both on Twitter and on Instagram.
And we've got a lot to dig into this week, Ken. I know you want to talk a little bit about the Philadelphia Eagles. Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman had a press conference. What were your takeaways from that?
Yeah, basically in a nutshell, as far as Doug goes, with what basically with what the press was drawing him with was, all about, with new coaches and that. And, plain and simple, in a nutshell, he's excited about this new coalition, I guess, if you want to put it that way, of coaches that he, set up, and he took the time, he took his due diligence to, talk with everyone, and as far as and especially as far as his hires go, just to give a real quick recap, as far as the coaches go, Mark Manuel, who will be the defensive backs coach under Jim Schwartz. He was basically best known for the Seahawks back in 2014 when they had their big run and won in Super Bowl 48 against Denver. Matt Burke, who's another really great addition to them. He'll be. I missed the position part of it for him. My apologies. But he's another great addition. Jeremiah Washburn, who will be the senior defensive assistant to Jim Schwartz, even though he at one point in time was an offensive lineman. And yes, he also is an overall player personnel for the coaches when on the sidelines as well. So he does a lot of work for Jeff Stotland as well. And then they have Andy Brenner, who will be the pass game analyst, just to analyze and throw his insight on the passing game. Richie Scanardello, who will be the senior offensive assistant, and he's worked with Kyle Shanahan for years, both in Atlanta and, of course, in San Francisco as well. And then there's Aaron Moorhead, who I think will be awesome. He knows the game inside and out. He's been there with Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, so I mean, he knows what's what when it comes to offense and wide receivers and his quarterbacks and that. And then there's Press Taylor, who will be going into his 5th year. Doug basically said it best about Press. He wants Press to get his quote unquote fingerprints on each of the game plans, to make them grow. To really hone in on different skill sets that Press can bring to the table. He wants to keep everything, yes, in the quarterback quarterback's room more or less, but he did say though he wants quote unquote his fingerprints on each of these game plans to grow Press more into what maybe perhaps could be an offensive coordinator role down the line, whether it's with the Eagles or with another NFL team. So Doug basically touched on his quarterbacks. His coaches, and one other nice addition that they added as of yesterday would be one that served under Andy Reid for quite a few years, from 03 to 12, and that's Marty Morningweg.
Yep.
I think he can bring a lot of a real lot of the senior experience to Doug Peterson, even though we know that Morningweg and Peterson had worked together at one point or another too under Andy as well. So Doug's got a lot of familiarity with Morningweg as well, but I know Marty can bring a lot as well too. So I do say this interesting regime of coaches or coalition of coaches, however way you want, anybody wants to word it, I think it's going to be very interesting.
I think it will be too. Now, I've never been a huge fan of Marty Morningweg as an offensive coordinator, a guy in charge, but if he's part of the mix and not having a whole lot of power and just kind of being a contributor, I can kind of live with that. He was a key component of 6 top 10 scoring offenses, 2 of the top 5 scoring offenses in Eagles history, 3 of the top 5 Eagles offenses in terms of yards gained. From 2008 to 11, when he was here, Eagles ranked in the top 8 in scoring each of those 4 seasons. In 2010, quarterback Michael Vick earned NFL Comeback Player of the Year honors as the Eagles ranked 2nd in the league in yards and 3rd in points. So, and Football Outsiders ranked the Eagles as a top rushing offense and the 3rd best overall offense that year. So he does bring something to the table. And if, Doug Peterson is just having the guys kind of, you do this, you do what makes you the best, and then just kind of compiling everything each and every week. You're right. That could turn out to be beneficial for the Eagles, getting different opinions, different sets of eyes on what may be ailing the Eagles on a given week. That may turn out to be really good for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think so, yeah. And look, at the end of the day, too, we know who's calling the plays as well, too. So, I mean,
yeah.
As far as, you got one basic guy, calling the plays, and then you have the others who are, okay, well, maybe Doug, you should do this, or maybe, but I think it's going to be interesting. Well, now, mind you, Doug did say though we'll see how it translates, more or less. But but he likes the hires. I do too. Overall,
yeah.
I'm not complaining here. So I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I just want to see how it all fits together. Now, turning to the field, turning to the Eagles on the field. Looks like our buddy Jason Peters is going to be leaving the Eagles nest, or at least exploring what's out there for him in free agency. Both sides, both the Eagles and Jason Peters and his representatives decided this week that he was going to test the free agent market, see what's out there for him. He will remain in contact with the Eagles as this process rolls along. But it sure sounds like the Eagles are bidding Jason Peters goodbye and are turning over the offensive tackle position to Andre Dillard. What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
I do think I think Dillard, if he puts his skill sets into good form in training camp, I do think Dillard definitely would be ready. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, as far as Jason Peters goes, and I know, and sort of to sort of collate that with Howie Roseman with what he said last week. Somebody asked him about Jason Peters, and he said, "Look, you know what? We're gonna talk to Jason. We like Jason, but we at the same time too we are dealing with cap room issues too. Even though as of right now they are give or take." On an average of give or take, I'd like to say maybe $50 million all told, and that was all. Then that basically was an estimated total right after they bid it adieu to Nigel Bradham. So, and they freed up, I'd like to say maybe between 4 and 5 million more in cap space. So that brought it up to like 50 million, give or take, maybe 49. 50, 51, somewhere around there, which, okay, is a lot for the first, we've had that much cap room for the first time in a few years. Now, is that enough to notch a top, to basically, in a nutshell, lock up a top-notch player? No. But Howie did say, though, that as far as what they went through in 16, as far as 16, 17, 18 goes, this will hold true for what could be 2020, what will be this year, next year, and either maybe 21 or 22 rather, or 23. The years 21, 22, 23. As far as yes, locking up players and locking up needs. And there are many needs as far as depth down the line. Both Howie and Doug mentioned that. But as far as, locking up different, players and, right now it looks to be like on the realm of what could be a 2-year, what could be, 1-2-year deals down the line for the time being, until they get some type of an area, or as far as where they're at by the time the year 22, 23 rolls around too. So I had a feeling that yes, they were going to say for a temporary goodbye. Because I think it's going to be a temporary goodbye for Jason Peters as far as the player part goes. Hence why I had a feeling that this was going to happen.
Yep.
But I do think, and I know we both talked about it and we both agree on it, Jay, that I think down the line, I think you might see Jason Peters on the sidelines as well as some in form of a coach of some type.
Oh, no doubt about it.
So I mean, and he's well beloved in and amongst the Eagles Nation. So I mean, I that's where I say too, it's a bit of a temporary goodbye, I think, for now.
Yeah.
Will he sign somewhere else? My guess is to say most likely.
Yeah, I think so.
So and which I can understand. And which is good, as far as courtesy on both ends go, an Eagles end and on Jason Peters' end, as far as being in contact, letting each other know what's what the end result may be as well, or will be as well too. So, but but I can understand where, how he, is coming from on this too. So, and of course too, at the end of the day, he's wanting to inject youth, into,
definitely. You have to.
You have to, I mean, and look, we all love Jason Peters. We all love Malcolm Jenkins, but at the end of the day, okay, this is, youth is going to be the big key factor too, because that's, and you want to, once you get this, once you introduce this youth to this team, look, I think that, the future will be bright. And I know the future will be bright again. Okay, will it be bright again in this year? Maybe, and how we did say, don't get me wrong, we'd love to win it all this year, but we got to play, we got to play each part,
definitely,
and take it, one day at a time, and we have to take it carefully, as far as one day at a time goes too, because, you don't want to be in the end result that you were a couple years back, where you played the divisional round against New Orleans, and look what happened. So,
yep.
So I mean, just to touch on a few quick things,
Sure.
Speaking of, Malcolm too, he basically, said in a nutshell that, as far as trying to keep talks in house right now, they are on a communicating factor, but nothing is set in stone yet too. So, and as far as Alshon goes, the main thing right now, get him healthy, and then they'll go with step 2. And as far as step 2 goes, it remains to be seen too. So, but we'll, I'm sure we'll.
That's going to be a big pain in the butt all season.
When they come to it too.
That's going to be a big pain in the butt all season. I can see it coming now. The Alshon Jeffrey, because I think if the Eagles had their druthers, they would love to get him off the team, trade him to somebody, but he has such a big contract, and he's hurt, and the two of them combined are going to make it tough for Howie to move him. Yeah,
I know.
But turning over to baseball real quick, Phillies are looking pretty good in spring training. Bryce Harper is raking. You also have Alec Baum also raking this summer. Looks like he may be on the Phillies sooner rather than later this coming season. What do you make about those two guys?
Yeah, I'll tell you, both look phenomenal. I mean, and as far as Bryce goes, I'll tell you, I do expect his second year to basically top his first year plus.
It looks like it will.
It certainly looks like it will indeed. I mean,
I'll tell you something, Ken. Jeff Scott and I are going to go out in the parking lot after the show is over, and we're going to be looking up in the sky. He hit a ball earlier this week that still hasn't landed yet. It may be coming this way.
That would explain the broken window in my house then.
There you go.
I don't know where the ball went to, but something broke my window.
Well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, I did see that bomb. That he hit. I mean, I'll tell you. And again, it looks as if, barring any major freakish injury. I mean, there's no reason for him to top what he did last year. And I know we have a feeling he will.
Yep.
We have a feeling he will. And
Definitely.
As far as Alec Baum goes, I mean, there's only going to be one basic question. Will he, he will be ready, but the question is, will he be up because either Scott Kingery it's not a matter of Scott Kingery. It's more or less John Segura, because right now Segura, from what I've been reading about and seeing a little bit too with what he's done as far as taking practices at third, looks very, very comfortable there.
Yep.
So I mean, the question's going to be how will how successful will Segura be, as far as drill testing and and skill sets at third. And if he makes the ball club, then obviously, I think Baum, even though McCutcheon is out, okay, and I know they already have a few players that that are in the mix, as far as substituting, in the left field role for the time being. And it looks right now. It looks like it's going to end up being Jay Bruce more or less until what hopefully will be mid-April. Hopefully will be mid-April. Hopeful for that because the way McCutcheon and I don't mean to sort of drive off the avenue a little bit with this, but the way McCutcheon had mentioned in one of the prior pressers. He did say that he was at 90%, but I think it's one of Joe Girardi's just precautionary measures. The way he's taking it with David Robertson right now, that's the same with McCutcheon too. So we
want him in October.
But, as far as Baum goes, I mean, overall, all around impressive young man. But I think it's just the question going to be though. As long as Segura continues to shine at third, as far as practices and and as far as the exhibitions go, it seems like right now it's a go for Segura at third, barring any injury in that too, as well as for him.
Absolutely.
But Baum, if it's not this year, it's got to be next year for sure.
Oh, Baum is definitely coming up this year. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's just what are you going to do with Gene Segura at that point? I can definitely see him coming up. It's only a question of when.
Right.
And how about those Philadelphia Flyers, Ken? First place Flyers. We are loving it around this area.
9 years, I believe it is, running.
That is correct.
Since they were last there. I mean, they are playing remarkable right now.
Got to give them their props.
Go ahead.
Got to give them their props, Ken. This is the latest they've been in first place in like 9 years. It's amazing. And they're getting balanced scoring from all their lines, too, which makes them going to be incredibly tough in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Alain Vigneault, as far as his style of coaching goes too, it's pretty defensive too. And I'll tell you, from the way I've looked on all the highlights in that, wow.
Yep.
I mean, it's just I mean, at one point too, and I think it's still somewhat that way too. But I'll tell you, obviously. We know who the hottest team is right now. I mean, you still have 6 or 7 teams in the Eastern Conference that could still make waves. I mean,
no question about it.
But even though they're out with Gottspear right now, I believe he's still out yet with that one injury that he had. I'll tell you, they're firing on every cylinder possible. And give props. I have to give props to Alain Vigneault for that.
Definitely, absolutely. So, Ken, before we let you go, any final words, any thoughts you want to get out there?
Well, on a bit of a serious note.
Yeah.
And I know, Jay, you and your brother Jeffrey, I know, are taking it very seriously too, because where your dad has had all the the stuff that has had done to him, and as far as the surgical procedures that LVAD and all that.
Yep.
And that being being taking major precautions, in terms of preventing from capturing this COVID-19 disease or virus. I mean, it's just it's heartbreaking to hear the numbers that you're hearing right now as far as deaths go, and cases that are just the cases are just. Thankfully, it's not at an alarming, quick-paced rate, but it's slowly growing. It seems. And,
yeah.
And again, the way I see it, and the way I've been sort of preaching it too. Number one, most important, always, and not to the it's not to the point where you want to be like me, okay? As far as washing your hands so much that your hands crack, and especially this time of year.
Yep.
Me, I mean, I'll tell you, you need to see my hands. I mean, by golly.
I can imagine.
But as far as, the number one major factor, whether it's every 20 minutes, half hour, or every 45 minutes to an hour, wash your hands.
Yep.
Like vigorously.
Definitely.
And an interesting thing, too, what you want to be, and I believe it's Dr. Oz who even mentioned it, too. Take each tip of your, rub the tips of your fingers, and like the tops of where your fingernails are, because that's where a good chunk of, everything collects, from dust to what could be a disease that you don't even see.
True. Yep.
So,
very true.
I mean, and I believe Dr. Oz said maybe a total of what could be 5 to 10 times.
Yep.
Told every washing that you do that with your fingertips.
Gotcha.
That's to at least prevent what could be anything, again, what could be dirt, what could be stuff that you don't see every day with the naked eye.
Yep. So Ken, real quick, how can people find you on social media?
Sure. Crossing Guard Ken, in parentheses, Crossing Guard Ken Moskowitz on Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram, Skywarn Spotter Ken.
All right, Ken. Can't wait to talk to you again next Friday and get more in depth with the Eagles and the Phillies and the Flyers as they go on their playoff run.
Yes, and let's hope it continues too.
You got it, Ken.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
All righty. Have a great weekend, Ken. All the best to you and your family.
Thank you. Same here. Same here to both of you. Same here. Thank you.
All right. And, of course, that was Ken Moskowitz.
So should we start washing our hands in between commercial breaks? I think
think that might be good. I mean, this coronavirus is not to be messed with. I mean, that's one of the things that we want to discuss, too. I mean, you're talking about leagues and teams exploring their options already because of the coronavirus outbreak.
Wasn't it recently up in Canada they're canceling games? Playing privately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all the leagues are looking at it now. WrestleMania, they've already announced, will go on this year despite the virus outbreak. So,
well, the wrestlers, coronavirus doesn't want to mess with them.
Exactly. You don't want to mess with the Fiend. You don't want to mess with Brock Lesnar.
Unless you're Goldberg.
You don't want to
go after Goldberg. How about that?
Okay. But
is that wrong?
I don't know. But I mean, so WrestleMania will go on, but a lot of the other leagues are possibly postponing games, playing in empty arenas because of it. The NHL has already said they're unlikely to send teams to China next season because of this. The Italian government actually came out this week and said that all sporting events throughout the country must now take place behind closed doors until April 3rd because of this outbreak.
Wow.
So again, I mean, this is a real thing that people are taking very seriously.
Absolutely.
And, new cases are popping up. I saw something pop up, I believe, in Jersey now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like the first case, I think. I don't know. I thought I heard that someone had passed away from it already, but I don't know. And you're right. It's weird how, a lot of people are saying, oh, we're overblowing this and everything and making a big deal out of nothing. It's going to blow over. Well, of course it's going to blow over because everyone knows about it now.
Yep.
It's like, maybe the media's hyping it a little bit too much instead of just saying, hey, be cautious, wash your hands more, do this, do that. And then we're going to get through it like we do every other disease that has come out recently.
You got it.
Of course, those were naturally made. This is a bioweapon. But hey, I'm not going to say anything.
All right. Well, now we are going to bring on our very special guest this week, Marquez Ogden. He is a former NFL offensive lineman. He's also the best-selling author of Sleepless Nights and his new book, The Success Cycle. You can order it on Amazon.com, and you can purchase it wherever books are sold. So take a look for that one. He's a keynote speaker and business coach. He played in his NFL career for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Baltimore Ravens, and Tennessee Titans. He's also the brother of NFL Hall of Fame offensive tackle Jonathan Ogden. Please give him a follow on Twitter at Marquez, MARQUES _Ogden, Instagram at Marquez Ogden, and on Facebook at Marquez Ogden Speaker. Marquez, welcome to the Sports Skillet Radio Show live stream. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. How you guys doing today?
We are doing fabulous. How's everything with you?
Everything's going well. I'm down here in Carolina. Good weather, good time of year. March, it's just, springtime coming around the corner. Things are great.
That is awesome. So you have a new book out called The Success Cycle. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Success Cycle talks about three major things you need to have in your life: ambition, drive, and hard work. So ambition is all about creating your roadmap, your blueprint to achieve success. Drive is about having the inner force and the ability to step out of your comfort zone to achieve greatness when people are telling you that you're making a mistake. And then hard work's all about focusing on you, not your competition, and really putting in the work, knowing it's a 95-hour work week, not a 9 to 5 if you want to be an entrepreneur or rise in your profession.
Gotcha. And can you go into depth about each one of them a little bit more?
Sure. So ambition, in the book, we really talk about, again, creating that roadmap, your blueprint, but really focusing on what are your strengths? What do you do well? So many people always say, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, how about saying, well, I have this, I have that. And controlling your mental focus and being fortunate for what you have, and then defining your goals and creating your roadmap and your ambitions off those strengths and those successes. And when it comes to drive, it's about really breaking out of your comfort zone into the breakthrough zone. So many people in life say, well, I want to stay here and be comfortable and do this and make this amount of money and have this life. But then they always say, well, I don't like my life. I feel like I'm living Groundhog Day. Well, drive is about stepping out of that comfort zone into that breakthrough zone to achieve that greatness. And then hard work is about focusing on you. So many people like, oh, I want to get into the social media comparison. Oh, that person has this. Oh, they have that. And you have no idea what someone's social media is really like for their life. You don't know what's behind their skeletons in their closet, what's their issues, their problems. So focus on what you can control, and that gives you the best chance to achieve success.
Gotcha. And you have a lot of drive, a lot of ambition. You've exhibited those characteristics after your NFL career with your business, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
So you started out, from what I read on your bio, you started out your business and you had some success, but then you also had some failure with that business.
That's correct. I had a construction company that started in 2008. I was 27 and a half years old. By the time I turned 30, I had become the largest African-American subcontractor in the area of site work in Baltimore City in the state of Maryland for 2 years. But then by the time I was 32 and a half, because I made some really bad decisions, I trusted the wrong people, and I had no accountability and no humility as I was having success with my business, I ended up losing my business after spending $2.5 million in just 90 days, and I ended up getting bankrupted because the client that promised me to pay me back the money in the change order denied my change order, and I lost everything, my home, both my cars, credit, you name it. It was all wiped out.
Wow. And now you reinvented yourself or rebuilt everything, correct? With the success cycle.
That's correct. So now I'm doing keynote speaking, executive coaching, consulting. I call it the Tony Robbins model, where you utilize part of your business and what you have to help you build a successful track record and get things going for your business. And I've done that through speaking, consulting, and I've just really turned my life around from where I was in 2013 to where I am today in 2020.
Gotcha. So if somebody was searching you out, what could you provide for their business?
I provide for them a strategic plan to help them go from where they are to where they want to be. But more important than that, it's creating your tactical execution strategy. If you have a great strategic 30,000 square feet plan, and you have that, but you have no actual steps to achieve on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, if you have no tactical plan, achieving that strategic goal is almost impossible. So I work with clients on creating a strategic plan, a tactical plan, helping them improve leadership skills, helping them to be able to evaluate talent, helping them with business decisions, all from my experience of being a business owner in my late 20s to now who I am in my late 30s today.
Gotcha. And I saw a bunch of videos that you have posted there on your website too. So they can go to your website and look at the different videos and then obviously sign up to bring you in as a consultant, correct?
That's correct. You go to my website, which is www.marcus, Ogden.com. You can reach out to us, sign for our newsletter. You can send us a message through our messenger. It will link right up to our emails and to our back office. And looking for a speaker on leadership, growth strategies, the success cycle, creating your own success cycle. You can connect with us through our website and get in touch with us today.
Gotcha. Can we talk with you a little bit about the NFL while we got you here?
Of course.
Awesome. So your brother is obviously Jonathan Ogden. You guys played the same position pretty much on the offensive line. What was it like growing up together and playing kind of the same position like with your brother? Did you guys push each other a lot? You know, have that kind of brotherly thing going on there where, you know, I'm going to try to be better than you. No, I'm going to be better than you. That type of, you know, brotherly rivalry going on.
No, because he was almost 7 years older than I was. So when I started playing, he was already in college. But when I got to the Ravens in my second year, and he had been there for going into his ninth year, it was absolutely amazing to have him by my side to help me with strategy and with tactical execution and footwork and placement, because without my brother teaching me those things, I would have picked it up eventually, but it took a lot longer. So my brother and I had a very, and still do to this day, have a great relationship. But when we played, it was one where I respected him greatly, and I always wanted to listen to him and learn how to help myself become a better athlete by really engaging my brother and helping and having him help me rise to that next level.
That is really cool. Looking at some local teams here, the Philadelphia Eagles are set to part with 37, 38-year-old Jason Peters, but he looks like he's going to continue playing, and it looks like he's going to get a pretty good contract from another team. How much longer do you think Jason Peters has left on his career?
I played with Jason when I was in Buffalo, and he's a phenomenal football player. He was a tight end coming out of Arkansas.
Yep.
Great guy, great attitude, and just a great all-around teammate and player. Jason is probably got about maybe 2 years left if he's lucky. I like to see him only play one and get out while he's still relatively healthy, because I know that I'm 39, so he's 38 years old and he's still playing, and I know what my body feels like at 38. I'm 39. I can only imagine what his feels like after all these years of pounding and what he's been through on the field. So I think he has if he wants, 2 years left. But as a guy that knows him, played with him, and wants him to get out healthy, I like him to play maybe one more year with the team and maybe have a chance to make a run at it. And so let me try to find a team that maybe that's got, that needs a good LT, a veteran, to kind of help them make that next plunge to the Super Bowl and maybe get a ring if he possibly can and get out. But again, we'll see. But I like to see him play maybe one more year. I think he can probably get 2 at the level he's still playing today.
Gotcha. And said that you played with the Jacksonville Jaguars for a little bit during your career. What do you think of Nick Foles as a quarterback? I mean, it looks to be like the only time he can have success is when he's signed to a contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think they move on from him this year, or do you think he's still a member of the Jags when the season kicks off?
They've said they're going to commit to him to be the starter at the beginning. But I believe if he shows any signs of faltering, relatively quickly, and probably around week 2 or 3, if it's not coming along like they think, then Minshew is the starter, and then after that, they're going to cut him next year. I think you've given him too much money to let him go now off of an injury. But if he comes to the table again with another injury or doesn't work out very well, I think by week 3, they pull him, because they will then put okay, well, let's give Minshew a chance for almost a full season. But again, also in preseason, you never know if Minshew shows more talent. Even though they've got a lot of money in Foles, that staff has to win. If they don't win, they don't get re-signed. So at that point, what you pay somebody goes out the window.
Gotcha. Also played for the Tennessee Titans. What do you think about Marcus Mariota, where he might end up this year? And does Ryan Tannehill return to the Tennessee Titans?
Yes, Tannehill's going to come back. They've already said that if they can work out a deal, they want to have Tannehill back. And from what I saw, it looks like Mariota will either go to the Bears because they're looking for a good veteran quarterback, or possibly the Bengals and be the backup to Joe Burrow. But I believe one of those two teams, because the Bengals have already said they're going to move on from Dalton, so I see him ending up as a Bear or possibly a Bengal backing up Joe Burrow.
Gotcha. Where do you think Tua winds up? I know the Washington Redskins, there's a rumor that they might draft Tua and have him compete for the starting quarterback job, or they may just move on. Where do you think Tua might end up?
I say Tua winds up with either the Redskins or with the Dolphins. I mean, even though he's injury prone, he's got a tremendous upside if he can stay healthy. So I think that the Redskins. I mean, it's tough to draft two quarterbacks back to back in the first round like that. I mean, it's very uncommon. But again, Ron Rivera might want to have his own player that he gets to bring up. So it's very possible the Redskins could make that move. But if not, I see him up as a Dolphin.
Gotcha. And the big story that everybody's following is the Tom Brady saga. Any idea where he might end up? Does he go back to the Patriots, or does he move on?
I think he goes to the Chargers. I think, they've already said they're going to move on from Phillip Rivers. They have the cap space. They have the room. Anthony Lynn is a true player's coach, which Brady's going to like, it being where he is age-wise. He's got some good weapons. He's got a good, running back, Melvin Gordon, good defense. He's got some studs on the D-line there, Bosa and Ingram.
Yep.
So I think you put a good quarterback on that football team, I think they have a chance to make a run. Can they go all the way and beat the Chiefs? I don't know about that, or even in that late respectiveness. But I think the Chargers. He's from L.A. He's kind of like could go back home. I think for him, from a family perspective, his wife Giselle likes that kind of L.A. glam lifestyle. I see him totally possibly ending up as a Charger.
I like that. As a former Chargers fan, I would love to see them get something really cool like that and actually become a contender again. I think that's really cool. But let me ask you this. Him going to another team, do you feel that obviously there's a lot of controversy behind him also, not just the greatness, but also things that have been previously? Do you think that might actually come into a factor as well, or do you think he can move away from that and bury it?
I think he can move away from it and bury. I mean, I think because of the fact that if he moves away, when he moves away, right, if he does that, and he has a good season wherever he is, it can be buried and not even talked about, because I think they're going to say, well, that was the system and all that. So I feel for his legacy to have a positive end note, he goes somewhere, has a good. He doesn't have to win it all, but have a good, solid season. That's a good thing for him to have.
Nice. Well, I'm all for the Chargers if they follow through on that. I'll be a fan again if they do.
Right.
But they have to go back to San Diego myself.
Now, I wanted to ask you this. There's a lot of movement going on within the announcing booth, both with NBC possibly and definitely with ESPN and CBS. CBS just re-signed their lead announcer to a record-breaking contract, talking about Tony Romo. Looks like ESPN is prepared to offer Peyton Manning between $18 to $20 million annually to become their analyst on Monday Night Football. There's a rumor out there that they're going to try and lure Al Michaels away. What are your thoughts on all these analysts, moving around and getting these huge contracts?
I think it's very interesting. I didn't know they were paying people that kind of money until I heard what Romo was making.
Yeah.
I think ESPN's trying to do the right thing and bring some notoriety. I think Peyton Manning's a great option. It's a lot of money to pay somebody, but they've got it. Al Michaels is another good announcer. So I think it's interesting, but, man, it's a lot of money to pay people to call a football game from the box.
Oh, without question. I can't believe all the money that's flying around. So that, all these networks are going to be in it when it comes to renewing the contract and trying to get as many NFL games as they can possibly get into their portfolio.
Right, and that's why they're trying to, I think, lure away Peyton Manning.
And I wanted to get real quick your opinion about the new CBA. It was sent out to the players. They're going to vote on it electronically. Do you think social media will have any effect on the way that the players are going to vote one way or the other on this new CBA? And do you think it'll pass?
I don't think social media will have anything to do with it. Do I think it will pass? From what I've been seeing, I think it's going to pass barely, but I also think that it's going to cause some issues with the players, especially that extra game where guys were already complaining about lack of rest, which I totally understand, and how every team's been a 1 or 2 seed in the Super Bowl the last 7 years. So I think it's going to pass, but I think it's going to also create some rift and a little bit of a tiff between the players as things kind of move along, because it's a 10-year deal.
Yeah, and you can already see some of the higher paid players coming out on social media and saying, no, I'm not going to ratify the CBA. I'm not going to vote for it.
Right, because they don't want the extra game. A lot of guys hate that there's only going to be one team having a bye. That's probably one of the biggest things is that one game or that one team bye they're trying to put into play now.
And I wanted to ask you this, since you played in the NFL, it looks to be that they're reducing the amount of practice time within the new CBA. How much do you think that'll affect the overall product on the field?
Oh, it's going to hurt it, because if linemen can't get timing with hitting and pads, and that's why I feel a lot of O-line play has gone down in the NFL, because these guys aren't allowed to practice with pads and aren't allowed to get the timing down. And I know it keeps injuries down, but certain positions need that hitting, that body contact to get used to it. So when they go into the season, they're not behind the 8 ball. And you can see a lot of times the O-line, especially, those guys are really at a disadvantage because they haven't had a chance to really kind of get their padding and their hitting squared away because of the fact that they haven't had a chance to practice a lot in pads during training camp.
Gotcha. I completely agree with you. That's one of the things that has bothered me about this new CBA is the lack of practice time, and the fact that I think once it presents itself on the field, usually at the beginning of the season, because they haven't gotten a lot of practice time, that's when you're going to see a lot of people come out on social media and there'll be a big outcry about the overall product on the field.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Gotcha. So, Marcus, we love to have you on the show today. Can you talk once more real quick about your book that just came out, The Success Cycle, and how people can find it and how great it is?
Yes, sir. So The Success Cycle is a book written to help anyone in their journey, no matter where you are, rise to a high level of success that you're already experiencing to get to the goals you desire. It talks about 3 major facets: ambition, drive, and hard work. Ambition is creating your goals and creating your roadmap for your life. Drive is being driven to step out of your comfort zone to the breakthrough zone to achieve what you desire. And hard work is focusing on you, not the competition. They can find it on my website, which is www.marcus, MARQUES Ogden, OGDEN.com. And they can also find it on Amazon online, Barnes & Noble online, and it's in every Barnes & Noble bookstore across the country today.
Gotcha. Marcus, we loved having you on the show. Hopefully we can have you on again real soon and talk some more about your book and the NFL with you.
Sounds fantastic, my friend. I look forward to it. You all have a great Friday, a great weekend. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Marcus, and all the best to you, your family, and your brother.
Have a good one, my friend.
You too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And, of course, that was Marquez Ogden. He's the brother of NFL Hall of Fame offensive tackle Jonathan Ogden. You can give him a follow on social media if you're looking for him. On Twitter, at Marquez, MARQUES _Ogden. On Instagram, at Marquez Ogden. And on Facebook, you can do a search for him. He comes up under Marquez Ogden Speaker. Obviously, a great guy. Love having him on the show.
Yeah, I just checked out his website now. It's very user-friendly. It's very cool. There's a lot. He's got a blog on there, so you check out a lot of his inspirational stuff that he's been saying. I think it's really cool. And I just bought the book.
Awesome.
Well, the Kindle version. I should get a book copy in case he actually goes around and signs.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be cool.
That's the one thing I didn't ask him, if he was doing any book signings.
Oh,
coming up. But I'm sure he probably will be. I'm
sure it'll be on the website, so we'll have to keep an eye out.
Exactly. Just go to his website and there you go.
Yeah.
It'll have definitely all the information you want. I'm going to take a 15-second timeout real quick. Nothing real major. and we'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
And we are back here on the Sports Skillet live stream. Reminder, we do this every Friday afternoon here at the very comfortable but not overly ostentatious studios here at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Cherry Hill.
Time to flip the page in the dictionary, Jay. Come on.
Try it. Exactly. I love it, though. We have fun here on the live stream. I want to encourage you to like, follow, share, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss out on it. We're a little bit looser here on the live stream than we are on our show on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey.
And remember, you could also comment during the live stream. Ask us any question you want. Feel free to make any comments. We'll try to get to it. I'm doing the best I can to follow, but so far no one said anything.
Okay,
to us,
so like cool. I said, if you have a question, like I said, we bring in guests here on the live stream and everything. So if you have a question for the guest, that we have on the air, want to talk about something different in the world of sports and maybe we're not covering, give us an idea of what you want to talk about. We are user friendly, as I like to say. Not only here but on our show on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. You can also go to our other social media sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check out our information there. We try to post different things there as well. We love having you as part of our show. So again, anything you want to talk about, we are open. To talk about. We were talking about the coronavirus earlier.
Which has nothing to do with the beer, everybody. You
can
keep drinking it, okay? Nothing. I mean, did you hear about that? Corona beer has actually gone down because people are so worried.
I can't believe it. Yep.
I bet you lime sales went down, too, when you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they go hand in hand, Coronas and limes.
Exactly.
So... so you got that going on. Yeah, definitely. What we're going to do, we'll take a brief commercial time out.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll come back and we will have our awesome contributor, Mike Nebbia, join us. We love having Mike on the show each and every week. Talks about NASCAR, talks about some New York sports. We got the Philadelphia side from Ken. Now we're going to start getting over to the New York side of things. Some national stuff going on as well.
Cool.
So stay tuned. We are going to talk about the Mets. We're going to talk about the Knickerbockers coming up. They had some big things going on in Madison Square Garden this past week. Totally unbelievable what's going on with the Knicks.
Yeah. Plus, that's got to be the best last name, Knickerbocker.
Exactly.
It just rolls a Knickerbocker.
So we will be discussing the Knicks coming up. So stay tuned for that. And we're going to have Heel and Hero coming up there as well. The new segment that we come. And that is a great segment because what we do is we rip somebody or we praise somebody. Could be a team, could be a player, could be a league, could be just about anything. We rip or we praise somebody. That is our Heel or Hero segment. If you got a heel or a hero, shout it out to us. Shout it out on the YouTube stream there. Let us know who you think deserves to get ripped this week or you think deserves to get praised. We want to hear about it. It's your chance to get heard. It's your show, Sports Skillet Radio. We're here for you. So we're going to take a brief commercial time out. Talk about that on the other side.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
Remember the TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name? Never been there. But every time I walk into Wildflowers restaurant on Pennington Circle, I feel at home and that I belong. Friday night, I headed over to Wildflowers, and even though it was packed, I easily found a seat at the bar and got cozy with 17 TVs. Baseball, golf, entertainment TV, you name it, including all NFL games. The bartender Dave suggested I order the Buffalo Wing Sampler, and you could tell he was a fervent fan. But reviews on Wildflowers Inn Restaurant Facebook page demanded I try the garbage truck pizza, and Kelly had just arrived and promised to help me dig in. Then it came. Garbage truck pizza does not live up to its name because it smells amazing and it tastes even better. Freshly sliced peppers and pepperoni, garlic, mushrooms, mozzarella, and meatballs all baked on this incredibly crunchy and warm double crust to hold it all together perfectly. Heaven, especially with one of their 23 beers on tap. I'm a believer. Go to wildflowersinrestaurant.com for more info or just come in. They are conveniently located on the Pennington Circle, right near I-95. I promise you, they will welcome you warmly, feed you well, and perhaps soon even know your name.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
And we are back here on the Sports Skillet live stream. Thank you for joining us each and every week here on our YouTube channel. And reminder to subscribe to it so you don't miss any of our great content. And again, if you missed it at the top of the show, I want to remind you to join us at our golf event coming up in May. It will be awesome. We will have prizes galore. We will have a helicopter ball drop. Example of one of the prizes that will be given away is a Amazon Echo Dot. That will be one part of our raffles. It will be at Cherry Valley Country Club in Skillman, New Jersey. You can go to birdies.com/KOFC 7103 golf and sign up. We do take credit cards on there, quick and easy sign up. If you're a golfer, if you know a golfer, spread the word. It is an absolutely amazing event. Like I say, where else can you go and see golf balls being dropped out of a helicopter? You know, where else can you go and have an awesome buffet lunch, prizes galore, like I said. Even if you're not a golfer, if you want to just come out for the day, experience Cherry Valley Country Club, have a nice buffet lunch, bring your kids, bring your family. They're welcome as well. They can join us. Just go to birdease, birdease.com /KOFC 7103 golf. Enjoy the day, relax, have fun with your friends. Multiple ways to sign up. If you're just a golfer and want to come out, you can register as a single, register as a twosome, threesome, foursome, whatever you want. We got it available to you. Prizes galore. They are going to be tremendous. We're going to have a little twist on the raffle this year, like I told Jeff Scott over there. So we're going to have a little, I don't want to tell you what it's going to be. I'm going to make you come out and experience it for yourself. But it is just a tremendous event. Each and every year we have it. It's at the Cherry Valley Country Club. Private club. When else can you golf at Cherry Valley? Just with us. We're giving you that opportunity. And there's going to be other golf courses in the area. One major one that you're going to be possibly able to golf at. Part of our raffle. I'm not going to announce it just yet, but will be part of the raffle. So you're going to have to stay tuned for that. But it is just going to be an awesome day of golfing. Just go to our website. All the information is there. birdease.com /KOFC 7103 golf. Come out. We want to see you there.
Yeah, where else can you wear your checkered pants with your weird sports top and
Hey, there
cap,
you go.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And come out, have fun. You know, it's a day to relax, enjoy it with your friends and family and everything like that. But as we do each and every week, we got our awesome contributor, Mike Nebbia, on the line. Mike, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing all right. And yourself?
I'm doing fabulous. So I want to start out with this. There's been a lot going on because I know you follow the New York sports scene. There's been a lot going on within the past few days with the New York Knicks. They signed a new general manager. He doesn't hold an introductory press conference. He just sends out a little message that was posted on social media. And then immediately after that, just about a day or two later, all of a sudden, you know, heck starts breaking out with the New York Knicks. And all of a sudden you got the incident with Spike Lee, you know, going in through the wrong entrance. And, you know, and now, you know, he's saying that he's going to not go to any more Knicks games for the rest of the season. He's going to boycott them. You know, it's just everything is just breaking loose. You had a couple of fans out there that were chanting, "Sell the team." They were apparently escorted out of the arena. All heck is breaking loose with that team. You know, Leon Rose has his work cut out for him. I don't think he thought it was going to be this bad this early in his presidential run as with the Knicks. I mean, it is just crazy what is going on with the Knicks and with Jim Nolan. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Jim Nolan, possibly one of the worst runners of a New York team ever, aside from the Wilpons. Look, I like Spike Lee. He is a great filmmaker. I saw his movie When the Levees Broke in my current issues class back in my senior year of high school.
Gotcha.
Great film, must recommend. And I get where Spike Lee's coming from. He's a lifelong Knicks fan. He's a lifelong New Yorker. And, oh my God, don't tick off Spike Lee, you know? He will let you know when he's ticked off.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, here's a guy who's been a Knicks fan for what seems like forever. He comes to the games, hasn't had any issues up to this point, and for the simple fact that he may have walked in, you know, I don't know who you want to believe, but, you know, he may have walked in through the wrong entrance, you know, and just for doing something like that, he was, they created this whole firestorm around him. That to me is unbelievable to hear him tell a story about how he refused kind of to leave the arena because they wanted him to walk outside of the arena to the proper entrance. But he was like, I know how this thing goes. As soon as I walk outside of the arena, they're not going to allow me entrance again because, as everybody knows, once you leave a sporting event, as soon as you walk outside the gates, your ticket has already been scanned. You're not allowed back in again. So he was like, I know that's the way this is going to go down. To me, it's like unbelievable. When you have a fan like that, when you have a VIP like that, talk to the guy one-on-one. Just go out to him and say, hey, you know, we're instituting, all you have to do is be nice to him. We're instituting a new policy. We like you in the future to come in through this entrance. We'll let it go for today, but, you know, and fine. You don't have to make this whole big scene about it, you know, if you're Jim Dolan or the security force there at Madison Square Garden. You know, it's literally unbelievable to me.
It is unbelievable, and Spike Lee's done that same routine for as long as I can remember, probably longer than I've been on this planet. He's done this same routine at every single Knicks game he's been to without issue. And that policy of once your ticket is scanned, you're not allowed back in once you leave, I haven't dealt with that at Arm& Hammer Park because they give you a stamp once you exit the gates, if you exit the gates at all. That's happened to me when I've been picked to do on-field promotions. They stamp my hand, and I go out, do my on-field promotions, then go back through the gates.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, you know. You can be a lot nicer, especially to VIPs. You also have
especially to a guy like Spike Lee. That guy's virtually unflappable.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing too. You know, I'm watching the Ranger. You know, I'm paying attention to the Ranger game last night, and the crowd at Madison. And here's the thing: Jim Dolan also owns the New York Rangers. You know, who play in Madison Square Garden. But here's the thing. Everybody, I'm loving that everybody is passionate right now about, you know, the New York Rangers. And you can sense the you know, the overall, how can I phrase this?
The overall tone.
You know, the Madison Square Garden was going crazy last night supporting the Rangers. People were cheering them on. It was a madhouse last night in support of the New York Rangers. And, I mean, it's like night and day from the New York Knicks. I mean, he has one franchise, the Rangers, who everybody is passionate about, everybody loves, everybody is supporting them, everything is going so well with the Rangers. And then you look across the aisle at the New York Knicks, and they're 180 degrees in the other direction. People can't stand them. They're telling them to sell the team. Spike Lee is upset. I mean, you have Charles Oakley, a former player who's, I mean, and I don't condone this at all, but he's using references to like the early, 1800s and slave ownerships. And that I think Charles Oakley has gone over the top with. I mean, that is just, forget about it. I think he went way over the top with that. But, you know, it's like one of those things where, you know, it's just one of those things where I can't believe how over the top Charles Oakley is taking this. But, again, you have Charles Oakley, Spike Lee, the fans yelling, sell the team. They couldn't be more PO'd at Jim Dolan. And just the contrast between the two teams is just utterly amazing.
It is utterly amazing. You got a guy like Charles Oakley, who led the team to the playoffs time and again with Patrick Ewing, who, by the way, still goes to Knicks games and is much beloved in New York. You got a guy like Spike Lee, who's made Academy Award-winning documentary films, again, like When the Levees Broke, which I have seen. And you got guys that continue to go to Knicks games, continue to go to Ranger games through that same entrance that Spike Lee went through, and all of a sudden they're instituting this new policy that says you can't go through that entrance. You're going to have some guys peeved off, like Spike Lee, who, of course, is unflappable. He is one of the most unflappable guys in show business.
I agree. Now, I want to ask you this question, Mike, because I know how you feel about the Wilpons. Which ownership do you think is worse?
The Wilponzies, as I call them.
Say that one more time, Mike?
The Wilponzies, as I call them.
Gotcha. The Wilponzies. Now, which ownership do you think is worse? Jim Dolan or the Wilponzies?
They're both equally corrupt.
But if you had to pick one, if you say, okay, I can have one or the other, which one would you rather have?
Well, after what he did to Spike Lee, it's time for the Rangers and the Knicks to drain the swamp of Jim Dolan.
Gotcha. To me, I would rather have, just to put this out there, if it's me, I would rather have Jim Dolan. I mean, I think they're both equally bad. As far as I agree with you there, as far as ownership goes, I agree with you. I think both teams have terrible ownership. But if I had to pick one over the other, I can maybe live with Jim Dolan. From the only reason why I say that is because at least he will throw money at a team. At least he will try to put a winning team together. Whereas the Will Ponzi's, as you call them, they do not throw money at anything. I mean, they are just, the cheapest owners.
Mr. Crab on SpongeBob.
Yes. They will just not throw money at the product. And that whenever a big money contract comes up,
They're going to let them go.
Exactly. Which is why the Phillies have a new starting pitcher in their rotation this year. So, that's the only thing I will give to Jim Dolan over the Wilpons is the fact that he will try to put a winning team on the field. He just does a really terrible job at doing that and also connecting with the Knicks fan base. Maybe he's not a Ranger fan and he just totally stays out of that. But as far as the Knicks go, he is just an awful owner and just can't connect with that fan base. And he keeps digging himself a deeper hole, which...
Yeah, at least he listened to the fans when the Rangers went out and signed Panarin.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why everybody's so psyched up about the Rangers and where they are going in the future. They got a good...
Because of Panarin.
Yep. And because they got a good stable of young players who are bursting and ready to start coming up. So, the Rangers may or may not make the playoffs this year, but I think they are trending in the right direction to become competitive again.
Now, if only my Devils could get that way.
Oh, you never know. They could start doing some things, Mike. You never know.
I don't have much hope for this year, though.
No, probably not this year for the Devils. But I want to say, with Jim Dolan as the owner, why would anybody, you look at the other team across the way in Brooklyn, they went out, signed 2 marquee free agents last year. I just want to say, why do you think anybody would sign with the Knicks? I can't see it at this point. I know they got Leon Rose. He's a former player agent. But it's one thing to be on one side of the aisle, trying to fight for a salary for your player. But now he's on the other side of the aisle trying to recruit players to the Knicks. I'm just wondering, why would anybody sign with the Knickerbockers at this point?
Answer, they wouldn't because of the corrupt ownership of Jim Dolan.
I agree with you. I know he's going to try and do his best. I mean, I heard that they're kicking the tires on Chris Paul, maybe bringing him across the way into the Knicks. I don't know that would be a good fit at this point because I think the Knicks have too many holes that they got to fill right now. Rather than trading for a superstar player, I just don't see Chris Paul as a fit right now with the New York Knicks. I would like the Knicks, if I'm a Knicks fan, I would rather them go out and plug some more holes, build up the bench a little bit more rather than bring in that superstar player who right now, Chris Paul may be looking to get a ring, get deep into the playoffs, and the Knicks aren't quite there at this point. So I don't see Chris Paul being a Knick. I know it would create some cachet for the Knicks. I know create buzz around the team, but I just don't see Chris Paul being a good fit for the Knicks.
I see him going to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Playing with KD and Kyrie, maybe that might be
potentially Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that might be
that would be killer.
I agree. That might be a better fit or, for him rather than going to the New York Knicks. I want to talk about some baseball with you. Spring training is underway, so we've got things going on with the New York Mets, and apparently the Yankees have contacted the Mets about the availability of Steven Matz. Do you think the Mets would be interested in trading Matz? If you were the Mets, would you trade Matz, or would you hang on to him?
I'd hang on to him. Do not trade Steven Matz.
I agree with you. You know,
that is a no-no, and I would immediately call for the sale of the New York Mets if that happened.
Well, they're already on the auction block, so, apparently, I mean, they're going through, we were talking about this a few weeks ago with the Mets. Apparently, they're going through they hired a firm to go through the search engine. So, yeah, I mean, they're already on the auction block looking for a new bidder for them. But, I agree with you. If I was the Mets, but I agree with you. I would hang on to Mets, too. Rather than trading them, because you're looking to compete this year. And if you're looking to compete this year, I would definitely hang on to Matz. He could be an integral part of that Mets rotation.
Exactly. About the auction, I'm expecting Cohen to try again. Because they're not going to find a better offer than what Cohen put on the table.
I agree with you. I think that was the deal that the Mets should have had go through, but the Mets ownership, they find ways to screw things up. And
I think this was a part of Cohen's plan. He knew the Wilpons were going to screw him over, so he let the Mets go to auction, and he's going to put his $2.6 billion back on the table so he could take control immediately.
Or maybe he comes back to the Mets with a lesser offer. He's like, you know what? I gave you an offer of this amount. You turned me down. You screwed it up. Well, now I'm offering you half of that. That's what I would do if I was Cohen. I wouldn't come near that price again. I'd be like, you know what? I gave you that offer. We were negotiating in good faith. You screwed me on it. So now, you know what? I'm giving you half of that. That would be the way I would approach it if I was Cohen. I would hold the Mets ownership feet to the fire now, and I wouldn't give them anywhere near what I was offering them the last time. They had their shot. But I wanted to talk with you a little bit about Pete Alonso. He's batting 222 this spring. Any concern over Pete Alonso and his low batting average?
It's spring training. These games don't count. Once we get later into this month and the season starts, that's when I'm expecting Pete Alonso to go ham.
Gotcha, and he probably will.
I'm not expecting him to match his numbers from the previous season when he hit 54 home runs. If he hits 40 or 45 home runs, that would be a good season.
Yeah, I think so. That would be a very good season for him.
That's what I'm setting the benchmark, 40 to 45 home runs, 100 RBIs.
That would be a very good season. I would take that, absolutely. Also wanted to talk to you a little bit about Marcus Stroman. Think he might be the number 2 starter behind DeGrom, maybe over Noah Syndergaard?
No, he's going to be a number 3 starter. I'm setting the benchmark at 13 wins for Stroman. Benchmark for DeGrom, if the bullpen doesn't screw him over, would be 17 wins. And benchmark for Syndergaard, again, depending upon the bullpen performance, at 15 wins.
Gotcha. Seth Lugo came out this week recently and says he doesn't want to be an opener. He wants to be a straight reliever. He doesn't want to be an opener for Matz or Waka. He's kind of old school that way, where you have your starters and you have your relievers, and the relievers have their assigned roles. Your thoughts on Lugo coming out and saying that? Do you think he's like anti being a team player? Should he be more of a team player and accept, as long as I'm on the team, I'm good with whatever role you're going to put me in? Or do you think he should stand by what he says and, kind of push back against being an opener.
I do appreciate his approach. He's been a reliever for a while. And I wouldn't care what role they put him in the bullpen as long as he's on the team. Whether it be middle relief, long relief, setup, closer. As long as he's on the team, he should be fine.
Gotcha. Do you think an opener...
Now I'm looking at the bullpen right now, and I'm seeing Diaz as the closer. Perhaps Seth Lugo rotating in as the closer, or Familia if he gets back to his 2015 form. Betances as closer from time to time, so they don't overwork Diaz like they did last year. I think that's where Diaz's problem lied in. They overworked him, and his production faltered.
Gotcha. Do you think a closer or an opener belongs in baseball? Do you like that concept or no?
I really don't like that concept. I don't know where that concept came from, to be honest with you, but I don't like the concept. It should just be middle relief, long relief, setup, closer. No openers.
I'm kind of with you on that. I don't really enjoy the openers myself because he's only going to be in there for like an inning or two, and then you're going to bring in a former starter. I mean, maybe if you didn't have the starting rotation, you might look at that, but I'm kind of with you on that. You should have you should have defined starters and relievers as defined in your pitching staff. I'm with you on that one. Just want to get some over-unders from you for the regular season, Mike. Pete Alonso, do you think 42 and a half, do you think he'll have more or less home runs during the regular season?
I'm going a little over on that one. 45 to 48.
Gotcha. I like it. If he
I
gets
trust his bat.
If he gets 45 to 48, I think then I think the Mets will have a really good season. I really do. Also want to talk to you before we let you go about NASCAR. Talk to us a little bit about last week's race.
Okay, last week we were in Fontana, and that was the cleanest race I've ever seen. Only 3 caution periods. One was for a wreck. The other 2 were the stage-ending cautions. And, oh my gosh, that was a good finish. Alex Bowman came out on top in the University of Cincinnati paint scheme. We saw 2 Kobe Bryant tributes, one from Ryan Blaney and the other from Will Byron. And that was such a poignant tribute. That was a nice thing that NASCAR did, allowed them to do those Kobe Bryant tributes in Fontana. Now that we're out of the West Coast fling, we are heading on. Wait, what's next? What is next on the schedule? Hang on.
What's next with Mike Nevia?
Oh. We're not out of the West Coast fling. Forgive me. We're on Phoenix. Out of Fontana, heading to Phoenix. Tricky mile-long track. We're going to be there for the season finale on November 8th. So this is going to be a little test session for that season finale, which, by the way, I still am not sold on. They should have moved it to Atlanta. But anyway, Phoenix, mile-long track. They reconfigured it a year or so ago, and this is going to be interesting. And I think my picks have been jinxed. Every single time I've made a pick, something goes wrong.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're a NASCAR driver, hold on to your hat. Mike's pick is coming up. Who are you picking on Sunday, Mike?
I'm going to pick Kyle Busch for this race.
Gotcha. Any particular reason you're going with Kyle Busch?
Well, he's been dominant at the track for a while. He's won, I think, 4 times at Phoenix.
Okay.
He may just have the edge when it comes to this track. He knows his way around this track, but that was on the old configuration. Now that we flip-flopped Phoenix Raceway. He may just have a tough time figuring this out for himself.
He met
the young guns, the Chase Elliott's, the Ryan Blaney's, Will Byron, Alex Bowman, the new guys who have raced on this track before, that have raced it multiple times since they came up. They'll have the edge.
Gotcha. So the veterans.
I'm going to jinx Kyle Busch here.
All right.
I'm going to end up jinxing him.
Well, maybe he'll come through this week, and your luck will turn around with these picks, Mike.
I doubt it.
You never know. So so basically, what you're saying is this track favors the younger drivers rather than the older veterans.
Yes, this new configuration of Phoenix Raceway favors the younger generation of drivers, not the older veterans.
Gotcha. So we will keep our eyes on that, and that will be Sunday afternoon, correct?
That will be Sunday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. on Fox.
Gotcha.
That will be the close of the West Coast Fling. Afterwards, we will head to Atlanta.
Gotcha. Atlanta coming up the following week. I love it.
And that will be the start. The truck race there will be the start of the race for $100,000. You see Chase Elliott on his home track taking on Kyle Busch.
Oh, I love it. That's right. We got that. We got that
bounty. We got the bounty.
Yes, and that will be the following week.
Yeah, that race, the Ultimate Tailgating 200, will be March 14th, 1:30, Fox Sports 1. And that's part of a doubleheader, by the way, with the Xfinity Series.
Oh, nice. We'll make sure.
It'll be the Truck Series first, then the Xfinity Series with the Renai 250 at 4 p.m. Again, Fox Sports 1.
Gotcha. We'll make sure to tune into that, Mike. We love having you on the show each and every week. Can't wait to talk to you again next Friday afternoon. Mike, want to wish you and your family all the best, and we can't wait to get you on here again next Friday afternoon.
Thank you very much. Can't wait.
All right, Mike. Have a good weekend.
You too.
All right. And, of course, that was our awesome contributor, Mike Nebbia. Love his take on everything. Love his NASCAR knowledge. I mean, where else can you get that knowledge other than right here on the Sports Skillet live stream?
The Tyco toys where you could just watch them go round and round and round.
No. This is big time racing.
Well, so is that. I mean, the car could fly off if you don't slow it down. I mean, you've had it before.
Oh yeah, I used to love them as a kid.
Yeah, I miss those.
Anyway. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our weekly segment that we do called This Week in Sports History with my brother Jeff. He does an absolutely fantastic job at analyzing the week in history, comes up with all these great facts that maybe you've forgotten about that took place in history. This week is absolutely phenomenal with what he came up with. So here we go with This Week in Sports History.
Welcome to This Week in Sports History, sponsored by Wildflowers Restaurant. I am Jeff Sellner. Let's dive right into the history books. On March 11th in 1986, the NFL adopted instant replay. Prior to the 1986 season, NFL coaches had no way of challenging an official's on-field call. Early replay was limited as only officials could initiate a review, and often the officials did not get a definitive look at the play. This version of replay was ditched in 1992 before being brought back in 1999, bringing with it the ability to challenge on-field calls by NFL head coaches. On March 12th in 1972, National Hockey League legend Gordie Howe retired after 26 seasons. Howe played 25 seasons for the Detroit Red Wings. Mr. Hockey was considered the most complete player to ever play the game. A 23-time All-Star, he held many scoring records before Wayne Gretzky broke them in the 1980s. He won 4 Stanley Cups while playing for Detroit and 6 league MVP awards. Gordie Howe ended his career career with 801 goals, 1,049 assists for a total of 1,850 points scored. Good for fourth all-time behind Gretzky, Jaromir Jagr, and Mark Messier. On March 13th in 1915, Brooklyn Robins manager Wilbert Robinson decided to try to set a record during spring training in Daytona Beach, Florida. The record involved trying to catch a baseball dropped from an airplane flying at 525 feet. The aviator, Ruth Law, reportedly forgot to bring a baseball and instead dropped a grapefruit, which splattered all over the manager. Wilbur quickly realized that this was a joke, as outfielder Casey Stengel is believed to have convinced Law to make the switch from the baseball to the grapefruit. From this point on, Robinson referred to airplanes as fruit flies. On March 14th in 2003, actor, catcher, and TV radio play-by-play announcer of the Milwaukee Brewers, Bob Uecker, was chosen for induction into the broadcaster's wing of the Hall of Fame as the recipient of the Ford C. Frick Award. On March 15th in 1869, the Cincinnati Red Stockings became the first professional baseball team, and in 1962, Wilt Chamberlain became the first player to score 4,000 points in an NBA season. On March 16th in 2008, in the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, Tiger Woods sank a 24-foot putt on the 18th hole to win the tournament at 10 under par. Bart Bryant finished second at 9 under par. On March 17th in 2005, the U.S. Committee on Government Reform held a hearing concerning Major League Baseball players' use of steroids. During over 11 hours of testimony, Mark McGwire refused to talk about the past. Many top players testified at this hearing as well, including Jose Canseco, who admitted his steroid use during the hearing, Alex Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, Sammy Sosa, and Curt Schilling. Steroid use by players is still an ongoing issue today. Thank you for listening to This Week in Sports History, sponsored by Wildflowers Restaurant. I am Jeff Selner.
And we are back here on the Sports Skillet live stream. Like Kelly said, like, follow, share, subscribe, hit the little subscribe button on the screen so that you are notified each and every Friday afternoon when we go live here from the very comfortable but not overly ostentatious studios at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So, again, you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just do a search for Sports Skillet. Will pop up right there, and you can subscribe, like, follow, share, do the whole 9 yards. But right now, what we're going to do is bring on to the show our new contributor to the show, Joe Ippolito. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. How are you?
I am doing spectacular. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Seton Hall. You guys suffered a bad defeat the other night against Villanova. Can you go into that game with us a little bit?
Well, I could say from a first-person view since I was there. The Pirates start off the game pretty rough, and as the game went on, Villanova was hitting their threes as they were known for, but the Pirates started answering back. And throughout the game, it was clear that Miles Powell did not have it. And even on his senior night, he couldn't deliver. But the great thing about Seton Hall is they have other players around them that can contribute, like senior point guard Quincy McKnight, who was honored as senior night as well, and junior forward Sandro Mamukalashvili, who both contributed greatly. And Sandro includingly hit the three at the end of the game to even even give Seton Hall a chance. They were down by 6 with about 30 seconds left. And Sandro's 3 gave them a chance, and ultimately they weren't able to finish out in the end. But the loss is nothing to be ashamed about. Villanova is a very good team that will advance far into the March Madness tournament.
Gotcha. So where does this leave Seton Hall right now?
Well, right now, Seton Hall's in a big predicament. If they won on Wednesday night, they would have clinched the Big East regular season title outright. But because they lost, they are now only one game ahead of both Villanova and Creighton. And Creighton is who they play on their last game tomorrow night. And so if they beat Creighton at Creighton, then they win the Big East title outright, first time since the 1993 season. And that season obviously was magical. They made it to the NCAA tournament. And if they lose, on the other hand, there's a 3-point tie with Creighton Villanova, and assuming Villanova would win at Georgetown. If that were to happen, Seton Hall would most likely end up being they would be a 3-way tie for first, and they would all three of them would get the Big East regular season title, but Villanova most likely be the 2 seed, Creighton the 1 seed, Seton Hall would be the 3rd seed in the Big East tournament, and that matters considering that bye weeks are at stake. So winning outright is the best thing the Pirates can do.
Gotcha. So Seton Hall should be in the NCAA tournament, correct?
Without a doubt. They're projected as a number 2 seed in Joe Lunardi's bracket that was just updated today. And even if they lose, they drop to a 3 at the lowest. So they'll definitely be in, and right now there are a lot of experts that are picking them to be a Final Four contender. This team has the experience to make it this far. And the main thing for them right now is that Miles Powell needs to pick up his play right now. He has not been playing. He shows up in clutch moments, but his shot selection is something that could be better. And within his last 9 games, he is averaging 19.7 points a game, 4 assists a game, and a little or 1 steal. But he's also shooting 36% from the field, 25% from 3, and that's something that the Pirates just can't have. They have, like I said, Quincy McKnight, Sandru Mamukelashvili. They can pick up the scoring load, but for the Pirates to go far, Powell needs to be at his best.
Gotcha. So going on to the national scene a little bit, we were just talking to Mike Nevia about the New York Knicks. I wanted to get your take on them and everything that's surrounding the Knicks right now. They just hired a new president, and as soon as his seat wasn't even warm yet, it was still ice cold. And then you had everything breaking with Spike Lee and Charles Oakley now, and the fans that got escorted apparently out of the arena for merely chanting "sell the team," which I believe is their right when they buy the ticket. Just your thoughts about the New York Knicks.
Well, in short form, they're a hot mess right now. But
exactly.
in long form, right now, Leon Rose being hired as president is not a bad hire. He's kind of he's kind of a wild card right now. We don't know how he's going to work out. We'll see. The Knicks have been known to not keep their front office people around very long lately. But this incident with Spike Lee does not reflect well on James Dolan's already questionable reputation. Spike Lee, for over 2 decades, has been tirelessly supporting the Knicks, even when they've been at their lowest point, which is just about right now. And I understand that from what I understand, he entered through the employee entrance at Madison Square Garden, and he is not an employee. And I understand that he is wrong in that regard, but the fact that the Knicks did afterwards with not treating him as well, and he came out. I remember he came out on First Take on ESPN and said that the Knicks did not treat him well. So for someone who has been an ambassador, a great ambassador for the franchise for decades, James Dolan needs to really look at himself in the mirror and think about what he's doing right now, because most of the league and the fans already hate him. You know, I'm not sure if he cares that much at this point, but if he wants to save face at all, he needs to make peace with Spike Lee.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he really has a lot of PR work ahead of him. I definitely think that. You know, and to have fans escorted out of the arena just for simply chanting "sell the team," that's their right as a ticket holder. You know, I mean, you can't go too far, but chanting "sell the team," I mean, that's their right. They have every right to chant that at Jim Dolan and Knicks management. I mean, they have every right to do that.
Exactly. It's not like they're saying anything profane. They're chanting their beliefs. You know, it's not like I've seen fans not get kicked out for saying worse things at players and referees and whatnot, and he's kicking fans out because they want him to sell the team. Now, whether he does that or not is, his choice, but that fans have paid good money to sit in the seats at Madison Square Garden, and it's just not right. And I know that after the Spike Lee incident, attendance was at 84%, I believe, at Madison Square Garden for a Knicks game, which is the lowest it's been in a long, long time. And people were making that out to be because of the Spike Lee incident, and maybe, but it's also, I heard also that it was probably due to this, it might be due to the coronavirus that's going around. So that's another thing. But either way, the Knicks James Dolan he's got ego problems, obviously, and I don't know. The Knicks are not going to be a good team for a while unless he stops managing them so much.
Yep.
In my opinion.
I agree with you. Wanted to get your take on Aaron Judge's shoulder injury, shoulder pectoral. He's missed 110 games over the last 2 years. Just your thoughts about where Aaron Judge kind of stands and your concern over this injury and his availability to start the season.
He has not been healthy very much the last 2 years, as you said. And right now there are rumors going around that it's a right pectoral injury. There has not been anything exactly confirmed about his status in terms of the injured list, or whether he's got how many games he's going to miss at the start of the season. And right now, I would take a lot of things with a grain of salt. And until the Yankees come out with a PR statement, I would just hold your breath right now. Wait for his results. Right now, he's getting a bunch of tests done. Him and Giancarlo Stanton, and the Yankees. They won 103 games without Judge and Stanton for a good amount of the year last year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, even Yankees fans out there, I wouldn't be too worried right now with the depth this team has.
Gotcha. Wanted to get some over-unders from you. Garrett Cole, over or under, do you think 16.5 for his win total this year?
Jay, I'm gonna have to say over for this one, mainly because the Yankees pitching staff, with Severino being out for the year now with Tommy John and James Paxton being out the first few months, they're really going to rely on Garrett Cole, and I think he will deliver just because he's going to be used so much more often, because he's now by far the team's best pitcher. I think the Yankees will still be winning games despite the injuries, and he'll be collecting them as a result. He'll be putting out good performances out there on the mound.
Okay. I can definitely see that. Absolutely. Also wanted to get your take on everything going on with the announcers between ESPN and NBC and CBS. You got CBS re-signing Tony Romo. He's staying put to a huge contract. Now you have ESPN possibly reaching out to Peyton Manning to bring him in as an analyst for Monday Night Football. Numbers that they're throwing around from Manning is between 18 and 20 million annually. They want to pair him with Al Michaels in the announce booth, but of course, to get Al Michaels, he has to be willing to come, number one. Number two, then they have to provide compensation for NBC to let him out of his contract with them. Just that craziness going on with all these announcers in the world of sports right now.
Well, yeah, it's a kind of a mess right now. Payne, before when Tony Romo was signed by CBS for $17 million annually, it's the biggest contract ever for a broadcaster in terms of AAV. And, you know, what ESPN would be offering Peyton Manning here, these figures, it would exceed that already.
Yep.
And I'm not surprised by that in this world of today with you know, just more money to throw around. But I see this as ESPN retaliating by not being able to sign Tony Romo. They're trying, obviously, they air the Monday Night Football games. CBS airs their games during the day and on Sundays, and they're trying to get a big time name to compete with CBS's watch time, because any game that Tony Romo announces, it is almost like must-see TV for any football fan. You know, great commentary, great personality, and Peyton Manning is beloved by many fans. So right now, all this mess here, we're getting Peyton Manning involved. He already works with ESPN Plus. He has a show on there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he signed. I'm not sure for how much he would go for. Maybe he demands more than the 18-20 million. But Al Michaels, he's a toss-up. I just don't see him leaving NBC. I don't think NBC is going to get rid of him willingly. And honestly, from what I can see, him and Chris Collinsworth have a great dynamic on Sunday Night Football. And unless ESPN was willing to pay Al Michaels a lot more than he's getting paid right now, I don't see him leaving NBC.
I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't see, because NBC has a Super Bowl coming up, I believe. So I don't see Al Michaels leaving NBC at this time. Maybe when his contract runs out in a couple of years, that might be a consideration. But for right now, and I believe, too, that ESPN would have to give up a ton to NBC to get him to even consider, to get them to consider letting him out of his contract.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But also I've seen that ESPN is trying to get, they're trying to get football games on ABC and ESPN, both of which owned by Disney.
Yep.
And they're trying to get maybe more primetime games on there. I'm not sure. I'm just seeing rumors flying around. But if something were like that to happen, maybe they could coax over Al Michaels. But other than that, he's staying, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Joe, going to have to let you go. We want to welcome you to the Sports Skillet team. Loved having you on, and can't wait to talk to you again next Friday afternoon.
Thank you so much, Jay. It was great being here, and I hope to keep doing this a lot more later. I'm having fun.
Awesome. That's what we want. We want everybody to have fun here on Sports Skillet. That's what we're about.
I'm having a great time.
All right. See you later, guys.
All right. And we want to wish Seton Hall all the best. We're rooting for them.
Thank you.
Okay. And, of course, that was our new contributor, Joe Ippolito.
Awesome.
Glad to have him as part of our Sports Skillet team. Want to remind everybody that you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as here on YouTube. Just click on the subscribe button. like, follow, and share. Get the word out about Sports Skillet. You can also call us up on the show each and every Friday afternoon. 856-330-4749 is the phone number here in the studio if you want to join us. Or you can just chime in on Facebook or on YouTube in the comment section if you don't want to call us up, if you just want to be a keyboard warrior and vent your opinions about anything in the world of sports. It could be about the coronavirus. It could be about your favorite NFL team, NBA team. Hockey, we're going to be getting into more and more as the Flyers and Rangers march to the playoffs.
Yes.
You know, Flyers are in first place for the first time this late in quite a while, so we want to congratulate the Fly guys.
Yeah, it took them long enough, right?
Exactly. You know, after all these years of rebuilding, finally we got a quality goaltender. We got lines that can score, a team that you can be proud of, a team that's going to grind and everything. And who knows, we may be going to a parade in the summer, you know, down Broad Street.
You know, we should wait for a winter, then we could put ice up the streets and they could skate down it.
Yeah,
you know?
but that would be too long because that's already part of the new NHL season, you know.
Why? The Philadelphia streets are, you know, so bad anyway. No one's really going to notice.
No, the Philadelphia streets are fine. They're fine.
All right, you try driving around there and see what happens.
Well, no, I mean, I do admit it can get a little trafficky and, you know, and, of course, I won't even mention the Philadelphia Parking Authority down there.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone.
Yes. But, you know, we want to thank Mike Nebbia. We want to thank Ken Moskowitz. And, of course, we want to thank Joe Ippolito and our special guest, Marquez Ogden. If you miss any of their great content, just rewind the show, go back and listen to it again. Or, you know, listen to it at your leisure. You know, you can go back. We'll try and get audio from the show up on our website as well as this live stream. And again, go to sportsskilletradio.com where you can hear all our great content and everything. It's always up at sportsskilletradio.com. You can also come out to our golf outing. I mentioned this various times during the course of the show. You want to go to www.birdies.com/KOFC 7103 golf, and all the information are there. You can sign up. If you're not a golfer, hey, that's fine. Come out for the buffet. Come out for the raffles. I mean, right now I can tell you there's going to be an Amazon Echo Dot. There's going to be some more raffles, great prizes. There's going to be a wine tower that we're going to have there. So if you're a wine connoisseur.
White or red?
Both.
Oh, even better.
You know, it is going to be a tremendous event. You can just sit back, relax, enjoy the day at Cherry Valley Country Club. All the information is there for you. www.birdies.com. It's right there, and you can go in. We accept credit cards. If you want to sponsor the event, we have several sponsorships available as well. Get your name in the program. Get your company name on our website. It's up there for a year. So, you know, it doesn't come down. We leave it up there if you're a sponsor. So there you go. You know, you get a lot of publicity out of it as well. So it's a fun event. We enjoy putting it on. It's for the Knights of Columbus. So it is a charity event. It's, you know, not for profit. Everything goes to charity right there. So
nice.
You know, so it's money well spent. And you can enjoy yourself, enjoy the day with your friends, your family, kids, whatever you want to do. Take them out of school, bring them over to the golf club.
Yeah, have kart races, you know how it is.
Well, that we can't do.
Oh.
You know, that we can't do.
I'm sure
Cherry Valley wouldn't allow it.
They'll find a way.
Nah, Cherry Valley wouldn't allow it, but you can relax. You can relax and enjoy the buffet and win a lot of prizes.
Cool.
So there you go. We enjoyed having you as part of the Sports Skillet live stream this week. We look forward to you joining us again next week. It'll just be me in the studio, no Jeff Scott next week.
So,
but you'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Actually, I'm going to be at Monster Mania. Is it okay if I do a shameless plug real quick?
Absolutely. Plug away.
I'll be at Monster Mania. I'll be actually helping out at the Killer Pillows table there. So come on out. It's actually pretty cool to give to charity for cancer. So come on out. Check us out. Buy a pillow or two. You can say hi to me in person and check out some of the cool stuff going on at
Monster Mania.
And I can't even remember the stupid hotel. But check out monstermania.com. There you go.
Monstermania.com. You can go out, meet Jeff Scott, get a cool looking pillow, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yep.
You know, so there you go. Check that out. Good things going on for Jeff Scott. He'll be back with us again in 2 weeks. So there you go. And again, we want to thank all our guests for joining us. We want to thank you for joining us as well whenever you're listening to the live stream. And again, hit the subscribe button so that you join us each and every Friday afternoon here from the very comfortable but not ostentatious studios in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Thanks, everyone, and we look forward to you joining us again next Friday afternoon.
Now say this out loud as you're driving around in your car.
Join Sports Skillet.
Just what it feels like. So how do you like it?
So what is it? I'm curious.
You like it like this?
My God, do we love football.
Or like this?
I love the sport of baseball.
And what about this?
You can have a sports show without all the vicious talk.
Simple human decency.
Whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, I like chaos.
We've got it covered.
Right?
It's sports the way you like it.
My friends, you may not know this. It's got everything you want.
Here we go. Local and national sports talk that's fresh, in season, and FDA approved. If it's hot, you'll find it cooking with Jeff, Jay, and Kelly. They don't just stir the pot, they add more flavor than the other guys. Get ready to dig in and taste some Sports Skillet.
Ooh, tastes good.